G'day ladies and gents, and welcome back to DCS World with Mags, and today we are taking a look at a new aircraft coming to DCS World. It's been a little bit controversial, but I can tell you right now this thing is a hell of a lot of fun to fly. This is the Christen Eagle II by Mk.II. Now we're starting off today's video with a nice low-alt city flight through Dubai, because you know damn well that new aircraft and low-altitude city flights are the only thing that rivals my coffee addiction, and it's a pretty good demonstration of what this aircraft is actually designed to do. So first, what is the Ce2? Well, the Eagle II is a civilian sports and aerobatic aircraft developed in the late 1970s by Frank Christensen. Designed from the ground up to compete on the aerobatic circuit with the infamous Pit Special, the Ce2 weighs in at a little over 700 kilograms, or 1,500 pounds give or take, loaded with a 200 horsepower, horizontally opposed fuel-injected 4-cylinder engine up front, specially modified for aerobatic usage. Control-wise, she's all mechanical, and she's pretty basic, as you would imagine. Now, as you've just seen, she's a two-seater, with the main pilot seat being in the rear with the passenger's position in the front for balance purposes, although the aircraft has dual controls, so it can be flown from either position. Now, the weapons loadout on the Ce2 is rather limited, with only tactical white smoke being available at this point in time, although I do sort of hope we'll get some other tactical colours at some point in the near future. No machine guns, cannons or sidewinder missiles are available here, as, let's be honest, arming an aircraft this maneuverable would just be unfair to the Russians. So, okay, all bad dad jokes aside, let's get this out of the way. Why the hell is this little civilian aerobatics plane in my digital combat simulator? Well, from a practical standpoint, as I understand it, Mk.II. has been using the development of the Ce2 to hone their development skills for prop aircraft, specifically the F4U Corsair, which should be the next aircraft Mag.III will be working on, following the Ce3. From a less practical standpoint, why the hell not? We already have a collection of trainers, why not something we don't have, especially considering we actually have aerobatic servers already available in multiplayer for doing exactly what this plane is built to do. To be clear, and I'm pretty sure you can tell, I'm very much in the camp of the develop anything you want for DCS. Providing they're all built to the detail levels we've come to expect from DCS, having more aircraft, especially non-combat aircraft, I'm still waiting for my C-130, and even non-military aircraft is a good thing. From there we can buy the planes we like or we are interested in, not buy the ones we're not interested in, and in our multiplayer and single player missions we can place or not place the aircraft that we do or don't want available. Everyone wins, so honestly all the controversy around the Ce2 is really a non-controversy to me. Now, speaking of detail levels, how does the Ce2 stack up? Well, let's start with the damage modelling, as it's the main area I have a little bit of a question mark on. Also, it's a perfect opportunity for you guys to get a laugh at me stuffing up a little barnstorming. So, visually, as you will see, the Ce2 is limited in its damage modelling in pretty much the same way as all other aircraft in DCS. The aircraft tend to break in clean chunks, and the Ce2 is no different. Now, what I was trying to do here is a loop over the strip, and under the footbridge crossing the strip, touching the ground before pulling out of the intersection at 45 degrees. Not exactly a commonly used airshow manoeuvre, of course, but let's chuck this one up to science. And we impacted the street light on the way out, and as I'm sure you're noticing, we are missing a little bit of the aircraft. Now, the plane is not flying well here, but it's flying well enough providing I am constantly giving it a bit of rudder and a bit on the right stick, and I'm not being too aggressive on the controls. The plane is maintaining balance. Now, stunt planes are light and have a lot of lift, and this is a stunt biplane. The bottom wing isn't compromised. And the control surfaces, while they are on the top wing, the left-hand side ones are still functional and the tail is undamaged. So, theoretically, you know, I've seen videos of real aircraft with worse damage than this that are still flying, and more have managed to land safely. However, once I managed to get control of the initial spin that happened after impact, this was not difficult to control. Now, this could be accurate to the aircraft. I'm not familiar enough with how the Ce2 would actually fly with this kind of damage, but I would have expected it to be more of a challenge. The landing, of course, was rough, as would be expected, but I didn't do any additional damage to the aircraft, and it was down safely. So, again, this is not necessarily the damage model is bad. This is... I would have expected this to be more difficult than what it is, but I have seen and read about similar things actually happening, so not necessarily unrealistic. Surprising that it's so easy. Anyways, let's try that same maneuver again, and this time manage to pull it off just to show that it can be done, because, hey, that's what this plane is all about. And you can see this time it's going to go much better because I managed to keep the rudder balanced, to keep it lined up on the road, under the footbridge, touch the road, narrowly miss the street light, but pull into the vertical and roll out for the next string of maneuvers. So, how is the actual flight model? Well, this thing is remarkable to fly. It's both incredibly easy to fly and incredibly difficult to fly at exactly the same time. This is an ultralight aircraft. It is designed to be hyper-maneuverable for competitive aerobatics competitions. It has a relatively high power to weight ratio, it has a massive amount of lift, and all the flight control surfaces are mechanically linked to the stick directly on very short cables that are optimized for very rapid control movements. Essentially, this thing is twitchy as fuck. Everything you're seeing now with all the sharp maneuvers I'm pulling is after I have put a not insignificant curvature on all of the flight controls in order to try and rein them back in. This thing responds instantly to every single motion you make. If you want to fly it properly, you're going to need to have feet in the stirrups for the rudders and hands on stick at all times to be able to keep it under control. And you need to be absolutely aware of every single control input you're putting into the aircraft, because the aircraft will respond instantly to every single little motion that you do. Now, the second thing is, it's an aerobatics aircraft. It is designed to constantly put itself outside of its flight envelope in order to pull off maneuvers. Now, you'll remember in the recent Tomcat first impressions that I described the Tomcat as being very predictable, an aircraft that lets you know well in advance when you're approaching the edges of that flight envelope. So unless you're completely not paying attention, you're going to know the exact moment that the Tomcat is about to go beyond its design flight parameters. The Ce2 is the exact opposite of this. It gives you no warning whatsoever. You'll be flying in a perfect turn, no problems whatsoever, and then instantly you wing stall. Now, this is completely by design, but it does mean you need to hang on to those controls very tightly. Now, I wouldn't be able to fly something like the Ce2 without going down to the races, because while aerobatics is fun, watching the air races on a Saturday on the TV in the mornings was definitely my preferred type of television sport, so I had to give this a shot. So Gate 1 is down here at the base of the dam, Gate 2 is up at the top of the dam. Notice the airshow crowd as we clear the top. Now, I'm going to lose a few points around here because I was a little bit too high, but you see how the plane rotated to the right then sharply? That wasn't me giving a control input. That was the plane just moving on its own because I was getting a little bit too close and I stalled the right wing, and so she rolled over. Now, while I'm thinking about it, I should probably talk about how accurate the flight model is rather than just how it feels to fly. The thing is, there's not really a huge amount to say here. The Ce2 is a well-documented aircraft. All the facts and figures in relation to flight performance are very readily available online and are incredibly well-documented in detail. And as far as I can tell, the flight model in simulation meets every single one of these, from the maximum level flight top speed all the way down to the ludicrously low stall speed of the Ce2. I mean, the Ce2 starts to low speed stall in level flight at 58 miles an hour. That's 93 kilometers an hour or 50 knots. And let's be honest, we've all seen people in DCS multiplayer who taxi at that speed. But yeah, as best as I can tell, the flight model for this thing is about as good as you could expect. The only area that I've had any sort of question about is exactly how it performs when the aircraft has taken significant damage, which, as I said, could still be correct. Anyways, last thing to cover is a landing, because I've always got to do a landing, and if I'm going to try and land an aircraft in DCS, of course I'm going to try and carrier qualify it, and the Ce2 is absolutely no different. It's a light aircraft, and it has a stall speed, as I just said, of 58 miles an hour. This is not hugely difficult. But it is a hell of a lot of fun, and you can set up a little bit of a fanfare on the carrier. They got a little bit of space to have a bit of a play with it. So anyways, first impressions of the Ce2. No, it's not a combat aircraft. Yes, it is a shitload of fun. No, I don't expect everybody is probably going to want to buy one in DCS. Those that are interested in stunt planes and DCS, however, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. This thing is an absolute blast, and it's available on January 23rd. Anyways, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you very much for watching. As always, remember to check the video description down below for links to all of my social media, my Twitch, my Discord, my Patreon if you'd like to help support the channel. And as always, remember to click that like button, share and subscribe if you would like to see more. And until next time, fly smart, fly safe, and I'll catch you in the skies.